Hey guys, I was 242 this morning. My glucose is currently 117. I just got through eating about an hour and a half ago or so. So today's topic is all about how to start intermittent fasting and extended fasting. So I think that before you start fasting, it'd be a really good idea to be somewhat fat adapted first. That's going to make fasting way more comfortable with far fewer side effects. So what it means to be fat adapted is that your body primarily burns fat for fuel as opposed to glucose. So if you've been eating the standard American diet with tons of processed foods, tons of carbohydrates and sugars, then you're going to primarily be burning glucose as your main fuel source. So you want to switch your metabolism over to being fat adapted or primarily burning fat as your fuel source first. And you can do that easily by following a low carb slash ketogenic diet and cutting out the refined carbohydrates, cutting out most carbs in general, and as much sugar as you possibly can. And that is going to shift your body over from primary glucose burning to primary fat burning. So once you're fat adapted, the next step, I would say do that for at least 2 weeks, preferably 3 weeks to a month. Once you've been consistently doing that, the next step is I would cut out all the snacks. So when you eat, you want to sit down and eat whole, complete meals and don't eat anything else in between until you're hungry again. So the easiest way I found is to start with a 12-12. So that means 12 hours of eating and 12 hours of fasting. So what that would look like is, let's say your initial eating window would be from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. And then you cut out all the snacks. So you could fit in 3 solid meals in that time, maybe eat one at 8, one at 2, and 8 a.m., 2 p.m., and then again at 8 p.m. So that's just one suggestion to start off is just limit yourself to a 12-hour eating window. Once that becomes natural and comfortable and you don't feel any discomfort at all, shrink it now from 12 hours to 11 hours. So try to shrink your window to 11 hours. Then, when that feels good, shrink it to 10 hours, so on and so forth, just 1 hour at a time. And it took me about 4 months before I could get my eating window all the way down to 20 hours fasting and 4 hours eating. And so everyone becomes adapted to it at a different rate. There's no need to rush yourself, but you really want to get to shrink that window down to at least a 20-hour fasting window and a 4 hour feeding window. Once you can do that comfortably, then you can start experimenting with the 24-hour fast and a 30-hour fast and a 36-hour fast. And you can begin to experiment with longer fasts beyond that. Jason Fung outlines all of these types of fasting regimens in the complete guide to fasting. So another thing is that when you're fasting, your electrolytes can get low. So I will put a link in the description below to the specific electrolyte drops that I use. When I fast, the only things that I consume are water, occasionally black coffee, unsweet tea, and a teaspoon of lemon and lime juice here and there, and salt. That's it. I don't have any sweeteners of any kind. There is some controversy. Some people say that stevia and the natural sweeteners don't affect your insulin. We know that they don't spike your blood sugar, but for some people it can affect insulin, some people it doesn't. It's hard to know which side of the camp you're on unless you have your doctor do an insulin test before and after you have it. So I would just say avoid it just to be on the cautious side because the whole point is to reverse insulin resistance. So you want to not trigger your insulin as much as possible. If you get hungry, which you will, especially in the beginning, the best tip I have is lick some salt, specifically pink salt, because pink salt has extra vitamins and minerals in it that just regular table salt doesn't. And then drink a glass of water. And 9 times out of 10, that will calm the hunger pangs down. Um, Fasting really is, for me, it is more psychological than it is physical. Yes, you do physically get hungry, but it really is a game of the mind. And like anything, you can train your body and you can train your mind. And I know that with a lot of practice, you can do it. So keep staying tuned. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about step 5. Together, we are going to slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.